Welcome back. You're watching Big Deal, and I caught up with Cyril Shroff on the various dynamics of IBC process and how is the whole theme of value maximization playing out in these processes. Mr. Shroff, so good to have you on CNBC TV 18. At the moment, how do you rate the success of the entire NCLT IBC process?
So I'd look at it from two lenses. One, a kind of a near-term and a short-term lens, and a second, a kind of a more macro perspective. Let me start with the macro perspective. This is a new regime. It comes on the back of decades of the earlier regime, which was essentially very socialist in concept. This is path-breaking. So I believe that the way the IBC has progressed till now is very good. Of course, there are problems, but these problems are not unexpected for a new regime like this. So I would give it very high marks for what we have achieved so far. Right. Yes, we have to see more resolutions coming through. Right. There are some critical issues which are still open in terms of, whether process is more important or value is more important. And there's some of these conceptual issues will continue for a while. So I think we should not beat ourselves up too much about some of the daily frustrations that we see. Comparative regimes in other countries have taken much longer to evolve. India's IBC regime is on steroids. Right. Now, from a micro perspective, there are many day-to-day frustrations, and whether it's resolution applicants or bidders, whether it's other stakeholders in this, they have their sense of frustration. Because India's IBC regime has very many nuances as well, one of which say something like 29A. Second, that we don't have a full-fledged bankruptcy court. We have a kind of a multi-purpose tribunal in NCLT which does many things, including the normal company law, jurisprudence, jurisdiction, some aspects of competition law as well. So it's there is a bit of sort of diversified specialization that is built into this. So these are some Indian nuances, and that is what kind of adds to the frustration. But look at how much of a journey we have traveled compared to the past, and now what lies ahead after this 12th February, since the deadline has come to an end and we are in the final stages of seeing where that goes. I think there is an avalanche of resolution cases that are coming. All right,
avalanche of resolution cases and lots of work for the deal makers in the IBC world like yourself. But Mr. Shroff, if we just focus on the present, cases, you spoke about the various frustrations, but we're still evolved. We've learned from many of the challenges that we faced, and the judiciary has also been very helpful in changing, correcting, and government has also very quickly changed some of the rules as required.
Even though it's a new legislation, we've had 2 major amendments since then.
Exactly.
So that shows the extent of the political will.
Oh yes. So now, are there still more teething worries in this? Are there more loopholes that should next be resolved for it to become more smooth?
Yes, for sure. So I think there is still some more work to be done on refining 29A because, there are 2 views on it. One view is that it's just gone too far and it's impractical. There is still a lot of grey area still left in it, so that's one area. Then this entire process versus value issue somewhere needs to be resolved. One thought could be that you go in for an open bidding kind of system where there is transparency and early finality. So that's another one. Then I think we're going to see a lot more jurisprudence evolve around this entire concept of wrongful trading and personal liability of directors who are anticipating. So there's a lot more to be done. I won't keep rushing into another amendment yet. Let's wait for 6 months, 1 year and see what issues come up. So long as the government is nimble enough to make quick changes, I think that's all that we need.
All right, so some more changes definitely required at this point. But what I would also like to focus on is that so far, wherever we have reached in terms of the processes, value maximization has come out as a big theme. But are we also trying to go overboard in that particular aspect? Because there have been some rebids and some sort of controversies regarding certain cases as well.
Yes, and I was talking to some friends from other markets who have sort of developed in their bankruptcy regime in their jurisdiction, and there was one kind of principle that struck out and stuck in my mind as to what are the rules of a bankruptcy court. And the sentence that really stuck in my mind was that there is only one rule in the bankruptcy regime or the bankruptcy court system, that there are no rules. That is the only operative rule. So whatever works, value maximization will of course be a key priority, but it will take some time before a kind of market practice and role models of transactions develop, which can be relied upon by the marketplace.
All right, and Mr. Shroff, then I think any other trend that you're looking at as far as M&A is concerned besides this?
So let's see now what happens with this Project Sashakt and this IC arrangement. So if some cases can be resolved in a pre-NCLT regime. So that might be another, we need to see where that goes. That can have a lot of promise.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Shroff, for joining us. Thank you. So that's the view coming in from one of the top corporate lawyers in the country. But let's also get a view from an investment banker, a well-known at that. Ashok Wadhwa will be joining me on the other side. Stay tuned to Big Deal.